y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Kia Simone. And as soon as I dropped the review for episodes 1 and 2, I realized episode 3 comes out. Now, I'm not even quite sure what day of the week this show comes on. I went to look on the damn DVR and I said, oh, I got a new episode. Okay, so here I am to tell y'all exactly what I think about it. And yes, they is still on some bullshit. Let's get into it. Before we do, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you've not already. And welcome to all my new subscribers. Hey, how y'all doing? I hope you like it over here. So episode 3 opens up with Trina Towanda and their mom going out for brunch and drinks, and they're catching up after the grief counseling. Well, while they're sitting there ordering their food, they just happened to get a jailhouse call from Tracy's son, Kevin. Well, this is how we find out exactly what he's locked up for, and he's locked up for failure to appear. Now, what he was supposed to appear in court for, I don't know, and I also don't think it's our damn business, but it's in our face anyway. But leave it to Towanda to be in the confessional, giving us all the dirty details and pretending like she's trying to protect the truth. About the details don't really matter, but you know, there were some charges stemming from events surrounding this divorce. I mean, we don't need to get into the details and whether or not it was a mistake for him to fail to appear in court. We have the family attorney getting on top of it. Yeah, not before you could get on top of it and put it all over the damn TV. Tawanda's in the confessional talking about how she's sure he feels so alone because he's so far away from the rest of the family, because I guess they're in LA and Atlanta and he's somewhere in Maryland, which is also where the family attorney is, thank God. But she's talking to him on the phone about, you know, we got your back, nephew. You know, we're here for you. And he's saying how this is really hard, especially because it's happening right around the 2-year anniversary of his mom's passing. So now listen, I see on the surface that this is supposed to be the aunts and the grandma and they're being there for him during his tumultuous time. But I just have to wonder, how did they just happen to time getting a jail call at the same time that they were filming a scene? Just how that just happened to work out. And then Miss Evelyn is in the confessional talking about how the challenging thing is that none of them really know what's going on with little Kevin. She said pain is pain. And for him to lose his mother, especially when they were so close, I think maybe that might be part of why he and his wife are having problems. I don't know. We don't know. But I imagine that losing his mother is the big issue. That's what I really think. I say you don't say. I'm trying to understand why she's saying it like this is some epiphany. She's saying it like it's groundbreaking. The idea that what might be really wrong with him is that he lost his mom. Like, I don't know. Maybe these people pissing me off. Maybe I ain't got the patience for them. I don't know. But I'm just like, what? So Towanda brought up the grief counseling and she asked them what they thought about how it went. And Miss Evelyn, like, yeah, I don't know about that. Y'all done act a damn fool and embarrass me on TV again. When Towanda heard her mama with that, she knew exactly what that meant. She said, well, we were honest, and that's the only way you're going to heal stuff is you got to be honest about it. But Spirit has great energy. I thought she was really good for us. Trina said, well, I think I need to see her a few more times. They said, yeah, you probably should see her more than a few more times. You need to see her until further notice. And Towanda said, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm dead serious. Trina said, I didn't take any offense to it. I'm actually taking that in. And honestly, as shady as it does sound, yeah, you might need to stay in therapy for a minute. That's a very real suggestion, that you need to stay in the process for as long as it takes. Because sometimes we want to heal on our schedule. We want to heal in the time frame that we want to heal, because I'm tired of this shit hurting. I'm tired of thinking about it. I'm tired of feeling it. I'm tired of going through it. And you have to stay in the process for as long as that process takes. And as corny and as cliche as it sounds, you have to trust the process so that you can come out better on the other side. So their mom, Miss Evelyn, goes on to tell them that what really hurt her is how they continue to fight even after Tracy's passing and after them making a pact as sisters that they wouldn't continue to fight after Tracy's passing. Now, Towanda says in the confessional, are we really just fighting, or are we all processing the death of our sister? The thing is that I think Miss Evelyn seems to overlook is you can't just say, oh, I think we need to all get along, so we're going to now just ignore all of the issues, all the problems, all the concerns that we've had with each other. I don't want to call their relationships troubled, but these sisters have issues between them. So you can't, in the wake of someone's death, say, oh, we're just going to pretend that these issues don't exist and we're going to get along. I think that would honestly make the issue worse more than anything. You're going to compound the fact that we have these issues with secrecy and silence. That doesn't work. The only way to resolution is through the issue. You can't go around it. You can't pretend it doesn't exist. You can't sweep it under the rug. You have to actually address the issues head on in order to get through them. So as their mom, you can't guilt them into a better relationship. You can guide them, but you can't guilt them. Now in the confessional, Towanda goes on to say that for her, moving forward means putting everything in the past and respecting everyone's boundaries, but clearly that ain't working. She and Tamar can barely sit in the same room on the same couch and get along because they have all these underlying unspoken issues. And Trina goes on to explain to her mom that ability and willingness are two different things. Just because you're able to get over the issue, if you're not willing to participate in the process, then there's nothing anybody can do about it. Her mom agreed and said, other than Trina, every one of them has been extremely guarded in their healing process about their feelings. And she goes on to say in the confessional that since they started filming this show, she has seen a side of her daughters that she never even knew existed before these cameras came into their lives. And that's what I was saying in my last review, is that you can visibly see the difference in them and their countenance. You can just see that something has completely shifted. There's an absence of joy, and they used to look so happy and they were this fun family to watch, even when they had their quarrels and their issues, because we know how families go. But now there's just this undertone of misery. And it's really sad to see because they are sisters. And not only are they sisters, they're this super talented group of women. So they're probably better together than they are apart, but they can't get along. And for what? Now, I can tell you no word of lie. I did used to understand why they used to fight with Tamar so much, because Tamar used to talk more shit than enough, especially when she was married to Vince. However, I feel like life has humbled Tamar in such a way that you can't be mad no more. Life done took her down through that. So really, what is the beef? Like, what's the issue? As Evelyn is in the confessional saying they have to fix it between them for God's sakes. She said, I know everybody says, but you're the mom, but you're the mom. She said, I am the mom, but they own individuals and they got to work it out amongst themselves. Well, maybe they don't know any other way to be. And maybe as their mother, even at this stage of life, they still need your guidance in terms of how to navigate and manage their relationships as sisters. Just because they grown and got kids and husbands and problems of their own doesn't mean that they don't need their mother, that they don't need guidance, that they don't need help navigating these issues that have been with them since childhood. Because while we looking at grown women fighting, what's really going on is the issues that they had in their house as children have followed them into adulthood. And we are watching children and adult bodies fight childhood battles. So yeah, they need their mama. And this ain't got nothing to do with nothing, but does anybody know why they mamas say, for God's sakes, after everything she say, ask, or do? Everything is for God's sakes. She asked Trina. Trina got to the restaurant, said she couldn't figure out how to get there even with directions. And the mama asked, well, how was your trip in, for God's sakes? Why? So then we move on and we see the Toni Braxton getting together with members of her team. They're coming together to discuss details and make plans for this upcoming Vegas show that she has. And her primary concern is, how are they going to plan for her health? What am I supposed to do if I get overexerted, if I'm tired, if my heart starts beating too fast? Because I ain't trying to go up there and let this be my last stand. She said, I'd rather be prepared for it and have a plan than to be caught off guard. And the first thing I thought is, girl, pull up Mariah Carey. You know how long I thought Mariah Carey couldn't walk? Because she had people carrying her around on stage and using men as human canes and shit. If you don't have somebody carry you around on a couch like your name is Jasmine. So then we move on. We see that Tamar and her mom are working together on a cooking show. Apparently their family loves to cook. And they're going to do something where Miss Evelyn is going to show you the traditional OG version, and Tamar is going to show you the updated, I'm trying to keep my waist version. I said, well, I guess, live your best life. We move on to a whole scene about Tamar writing a book and how she's come to terms with being a person who needs to always be in therapy. I mean, a whole bunch of nothing. They ain't got nothing going on. That's why they're selling us that child business. Speaking of, they ain't got nothing going on. We move on. We see Toni is in rehearsal planning for her Vegas residency. And after her rehearsal, she gets a call from none other than the family bone carrier, Towanda. So she's making small talk and, oh, what you doing? Oh, you in rehearsal? Of course you are. Well, girl, Scratchy is out of jail. Scratchy is what she called Tracy's son, Lil Kevin. Tony said, oh, okay, so that means he went to jail. Towanda said, yeah, he went to jail and he was released on a PR bond. He was released on his own recognizance. And that's a good thing. But the problem is we haven't heard from him since he got released. Yeah, maybe he found out you were selling them to the damn TV shows. They're concerned that they can't reach him. She's been trying to call him. She's not getting any answer or any response. And apparently, I guess Towanda and Trina are gonna go to Maryland to actually be there with him, get him set up, and figure out everything that he needs. And you know something, I think one of y'all said this in the comments. I didn't get a chance to really read as many of the comments as I would like to, but I saw it in passing that somebody said, you notice how they got Tracy's son and all of his trauma and drama front and center, but they got all their kids hidden in the background. In episode 1 or 2 or whatever, when Trina was home talking to her kids were in the house with her. That lady barely let us see her child pass by that damn camera. Towanda is in the confessional giving us her version of whatever is going on in her kids' lives. We got to take her word for the fact that her kids are still alive and walking the face of the earth. We know Tony kid's somewhere in hiding. But Tracy's son is the one y'all choose to put on Front Street. So then we move on and we see that Trina did go visit the grief counselor. She is the one person of them who seems to have her own storyline. Now, it's a heartbreaking storyline, but it's hers. Well, they start out going over the details of, you know, the nightmares she was telling the counselor about and the things she sees in her head. And the counselor is telling her about the importance of her being able to control her thoughts and get sleep and being able to manage just herself and her being in the process of grieving. The counselor goes on to talk to her about her loss of control of her thoughts in this grief process, and she's asking her, do you feel like you've ever had control of your thoughts and your inner feelings? And she said, oh, absolutely. And she asked her, well, did that change after your sister's passing? She said, no. I think that changed after my ex-husband's passing. But the problem was when she did grieve for her ex-husband, she was punished for it. And the counselor asked her, well, punished by who? And she said, Vaughn, my husband. The counselor said, so he was uncomfortable watching you go through this grief process. And she said, yeah. At first he was like, I'm not about to sit around and watch you grieve another man. And she said, I'm not grieving another man in that sense. I'm grieving the man who helped me raise my children. I'm grieving someone that I spent 16 years of my life with. And honestly, I felt that because I know that experience. I know what it is to not be with a person anymore. Y'all have both moved on with your lives. That person passes away and it is extremely traumatic. You can be moved on into another space, into another relationship. And it's not that you want that person back or that you are holding out hope for a relationship, but for them to pass away, sometimes it's just the finality of death. There's just so much that goes into it. So I totally understand where Trina is coming from, that my grieving this man that I'm not with has nothing to do with my love or lack thereof for the husband that I am with. I remember coming home and having to explain to my fiance at the time that, listen, I'm not crying over no other man. I don't want no other man. It ain't nothing like that. But this person was my friend. Like beyond the relationship and beyond the fact that we didn't end up together, we had a friendship before and after it all. So it wasn't that there's anything wrong with this relationship or a longing for the last one. It's just sad. And honestly, I thought Vaughn was better than that. Now I know he's a little snappy, but I honestly thought he was that way with this family because they'll bring it out to you. I ain't gonna tell you no word of lie. They fun and they cute sometimes and all that, but a dysfunctional family that always got some drama and some bickering and fighting and carrying on going on, they will bring it out to you. They will make you curse their asses out. I totally understand. So I always thought he just was kind of annoyed with them, but not you, low-key. So doesn't he have children from a previous relationship? I mean, heaven forbid that anything should happen to his children's mother. But you mean to tell me if something did happen to the lady, if she were to unfortunately pass away, you just wouldn't give a damn? But Trina said that Vaughn did come around once she was able to convince him that she absolutely did love him for real and on purpose. I chose you. I didn't just end up with you because I couldn't be with him. She said he did a complete 180. I guess he was scared he was going to lose his woman. He all right now. Trina must be putting that thing on him. He mad by the dead, man. I think, God. Trina went on to tell the counselor about how Gabe visits her in her sleep, that she basically sees him in her dreams from time to time, and they will have very positive visits where they're sitting down talking just like she and the counselor are. She said then sometimes she also gets positive visits from Tracy, but not always. I said, now what in the paranormal activity does that mean? What? Trina said in the confessional that sometimes when she does see Tracy, it helps her, and sometimes it doesn't. She said sometimes it helps because the visions that she sees are nostalgic. It's things that they did together as kids or throughout their sisterhood, and it does help her, but there are other times that she don't want to see none of that shit. And so the counselor gets into with Trina what she sees when she closes her eyes, and she's talking about how she sees Tracy and sometimes she sees her transitioning, and it's almost like what Trina is explaining is being stuck in this loop of reliving this moment. Trina goes on to explain that while seeing Tracy in her dreams absolutely concerns her, seeing her sisters in real life concerns her more. That she carries this anxiety about what their relationships are going to be. Who's going to be the next one to go? Are we ever going to be able to get along? And it bothers her. It makes her afraid. For me, in terms of the sisters, I think Trina is the least problematic one. And I think all she can really do is keep showing up as the best version of her she can be. She seems to genuinely try to be there for all of her sisters. She seems to try to be on the side of right. Anytime that they have disagreements, she doesn't seem to pick people. She picks whatever is right. So all I think Trina can really do is keep trying to do her best and hope her sisters catch up. So we move on. We see Trina go back home. She's packing, preparing to go to Maryland to catch up with her nephew. She said Towanda, her boyfriend Sean, Trina, and her husband Vaughn are all going together. But while Trina worried about packing her bags, her husband is worried about unpacking that counseling session. He said, hey, look here. You came back home from that session and you've been real quiet and off to yourself. And I'm trying to figure out what's the problem, why you've been avoiding the conversation. You could tell Trina was trying to figure out the best way to tell him just enough without telling him really the session about you and how I can't grieve because you all in my damn face. He picked up on that, so he was like, I mean, you don't have to give me all the details. I'm just trying to figure out because, I mean, you got distant and quiet and I want to make sure you get ready to leave me. Trina said, no, I understand. I guess you could say I had to compartmentalize. Yeah, I had to separate some issues, and we got to talk about my grief with Tracy. He said, okay, good. Now in the confessional, Trina said while it is a big step for her to start individual counseling, just because she's ready to talk about all the details to a counselor don't mean she's ready to talk about it with nobody else, including her damn husband. I don't feel like no arguing on top of this grief. I'm tired of crying and eating and drinking, and I ain't about to be fighting with you on top of that shit. She said, now, yeah, Vaughn and his inability to manage her feelings is part of the reason that she's been quiet. But she's also been quiet because she felt like her sisters shared a lot in that grief counseling, and she's been trying to process all that. She said in the past, they used to be able to pick up the phone and call each other and talk about their stuff, good or bad, but they don't really do that anymore, so she doesn't really know what to do with her feelings other than bottle them up and get quiet. And that's why I think it's important for Vaughn to not take her grief process personal, regardless of who or what he thinks she's grieving, because people need to get that shit out. Like, you don't know what is spinning around in her head. You don't know how that thing is stirring up in her heart. So I think it's important to really step back, decenter yourself, and say, you know what? This person that I love is dealing with something that's bigger than me right now. That it ain't all about me, and I'm going to be there for them through this, because that's what love and commitment is about. It ain't about just, oh, we here for each other, you serve all my needs, and you please me, and you make me happy. It's going to be some hard times. And we're going to have to be there for each other in hard times, whether we understand what's going on or not. And when she can't be honest about what she feels and what she's dealing with, that is going to interrupt the communication, the trust, the intimacy between y'all on a deeper level than you even realize. So we move on and we see Towanda finally bringing her kids to the TV show. She's going to pick up her kids and being super mom about she always makes time to pick up her kids from school. Child, I'm sure proved her a damn lie. First of all, on her way to pick her kids up, that's when we see her trying to call little Kevin. He's not answering. It's going straight to voicemail. She picks her kids up and she's telling them how she's flying out tomorrow morning to go see about their cousin Scratchy. The son don't know who the hell Scratchy is, but who and where y'all get that name from? Why y'all call him that? She's in the confessional talking about how everybody knows I call him Scratchy. And she tells her kids, well, yeah, I call him Scratchy. I've been calling him that since birth because his voice was always so scratchy. Well, super auntie, how your kids don't know that? How you got these damn near grown kids who don't know who the hell you talking about when you talk, we going to see your cousin Scratchy? They don't even know that you're talking about their first cousin. And y'all want us to believe that y'all are this close-knit family and you're this doting aunt, girl? Now, as Towanda is telling her kids that she's getting ready to go to Maryland, her son asked, so we can't go? And she said, no, y'all have school. And the daughter said, oh, I guess it's a private family matter. I said, well, damn, not like y'all ain't family. Towanda said, I mean, y'all have midterms coming up? The child said, ma'am, we've been took our damn midterms. Where you been? Now, Towanda gets home with her kids. We see them wrapping up shooting the scene. Why we get to see so much behind the scenes in this show, I don't understand. But anyway, as they're wrapping up, filming the scene of her picking her kids up, they let us hear the cell phones buzzing, and that's when they finally hear from little Kevin. Apparently, the producer has tracked him down, and they got the call from him telling them that he's okay. He just don't have his phone. They'll get him a phone when they get there tomorrow. Here's the thing. Towanda said the showrunner tracked her nephew down by going through her father. That ain't dawn on none of y'all. Like, man, miss me with this bullshit. I don't do well with people playing in my face. I don't do well with people tap dancing on my intelligence. I don't do well with that shit. You sit up here thinking you smarter than the average bear, and you supposed to be able to throw this child to the wolves and under the bus, and we're supposed to pretend like we don't see your hands doing the throwing. Girl, if you don't go to hell. And the episode ended with Towanda in the confessional talking about how she's so happy she finally got to hear from her nephew Scratchy, and she can't wait to see him the next day because they've been so concerned about him. Girl, play with somebody else. But that's it, that's all, and I ain't got no more. Thank you so much for coming down here listening to me and letting me get this off my chest. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you've not already. And in the meantime, until next time, just like every time, you know I love you and I mean it. Bye.